Good day. We are Group 2 from Section EH3 of LBYCH1A. We will present an improvised smoking machine made from accessible materials at home. The video will be divided into 3 parts. First is the process of making the machine, second is the extraction of smoke, and third, the bad effects of smoking. Let's get started. So how to make an improvised smoking machine? First, gather all the required materials. Bottle, transparent hose, cigarette, stick glue, candle, cotton, scissors, nail or anything that can make a hole, and tape. Now let's move on to the process. Step 1. Using the nail and scissors or any other tool, make a hole in the bottle cap and the side of the bottle. The hole in the bottle cap will be for the cigarette and the hole at the side of the bottle will be for the transparent hose. Step 2. Now, place the transparent hose on the side hole of the bottle and the cigarette in the bottle cap's hole. Step 3. Double check that the cigarette and hose fit perfectly in the hole. Make sure that there isn't any leakage. You can use a glue stick to tightly seal the transparent hose in the side hole of the bottle. Step 4. Place a cotton swab into the bottom of the bottle cap and in the tip of the transparent hole for the filtration process. Make sure to seal the cotton ball into the bottle cap before closing it. And you're done. Due to safety reasons, we will not light up the cigarette. Instead, here is an animation of the extraction of smoke. As we fill up the water bottle and light up the cigarette, we can observe that the chemicals from the lit up cigarette are transferred to the cotton ball. Once the cigarette is done, you can inspect the cotton ball on the bottle cap. It will contain the chemicals from the cigarette.
This improvised smoking machine will now be utilized to determine the chemical components of the cigarette smoke. To conduct the analysis of the chemical components contained by the cigarette smoke, the improvised smoking machine was hereby filled with water. As you light the cigarette, the smoke, as it moves into the container, will move up upon contact with the water. Therefore, the smoke comes in contact with the cotton swab found on the bottle cap of the container. This cotton swab, after the cigarette stick was completely consumed, now contains the various chemical components that the cigarette smoke contains, like tar and nicotine, that will be analyzed further.
Good day everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about identified chemicals in the smoke. Nicotine is an addictive, poisonous chemical that contains nitrogen, which is made by several types of plants including tobacco plant. It is also produced synthetically. It can lead to an increase in blood pressure, heart rate, and blood flow to the heart. Carbon monoxide. When smoke from burning tobacco is inhaled, carbon monoxide is created, which is a transparent, odorless, tasteless, and deadly gas. The hemoglobin in your red blood cells picks up carbon monoxide instead of oxygen when you inhale it. As a result, less oxygen is circulated throughout your body. Carbon monoxide effects. Carbon monoxide attaches to hemoglobin in your red blood cells to form carboxyhemoglobin, which is subsequently carried into the bloodstream when it enters the lungs by breathing. Once this occurs, oxygen is no longer able to connect to receptors on the same cell. Myocardial depression from carbon monoxide exposure, such as myocardial ischemia and MI. The next is vasodilation, from increased release of nitric oxide, worsening tissue perfusion and leading to syncope. Tar. Tar is the name for the resinous, partially combusted particulate matter made by the burning of tobacco and other plant materials in the act of smoking. Tar is toxic and damages the smoker's lungs over time through various biochemical and mechanical processes. Short-term effects of tar. Brown stains on fingers and feet, smelly hair and clothes, bad breath, paralysis of cilia lining the airways, increased number of respiratory infections, and impaired lung functions.
Cigarettes have been known to have negative effects on our bodies. We have always been told by the elderly when we were young not to smoke. But what does it really do to our bodies? Cigarettes are composed of over 5,000 different chemical substances. When inhaled, the first noticeable substance can be found in the mouth, which is called tar. This black resinous material coats the teeth and gums, causing tooth decay and damaging tooth enamel. This can also damage nerve endings in our nose, causing loss of smell. Inside our lungs and airways, they can damage the cilia, small hair-like structures, which are responsible for keeping our airways clean, creating an increased chance of catching chronic diseases like bronchitis. Smoking can also lead to oxygen deprivation and shortness of breath. This occurs when alveoli, tiny air sacs that enable the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the lungs and blood, are filled with carbon monoxide and reach our blood, replacing the oxygen in their hemoglobin. Cigarettes also turn out to be addicting due to a stimulant called nicotine. When the bloodstream eventually reaches the brain, triggering the release of dopamine and other neurotransmitters and endorphins, which creates a feeling of pleasure when used. Nicotine also causes blood vessels to constrict, making blood vessel walls thicken, while also making your platelets stickier. This increases the chance of blood clots forming and could trigger heart attacks and strokes. Different substances, such as arsenic and nickel, can also be found in cigarettes, which can disrupt the process of DNA repair. While various different chemicals can also trigger dangerous mutations in the body's DNA, which can form cancer, putting these two together increases your body's chance of catching any cancerous ailment. However, recovery from smoking is not impossible. Within 20 minutes of stopping, the previous user's heart rate and blood pressure begin to normalize. After 12 hours, carbon monoxide levels begin to stabilize. The longer the period, the greater the effect. After multiple years of not smoking, the negative ailments on your body are nearly disposed. Remember, some things that you think can save you can take you. So stop smoking before smoking stops you.